Transgender bill is being discussed at the state capitol. It would allow only kids to play on K through 12 sports teams that match their biological sex and not the gender they identify with. And it's prompting strong opinions from people on both sides of this issue.
As legislators, it is in the interest of the state of Nebraska to protect the dignity, privacy, and ability to compete fairly of all children in our schools and to uphold the laws appropriately.
It sends a message that they don't belong, right? So even if they were considering sports, they wouldn't be able to. They wouldn't even think about it because they know that it would be blocked.
The bill, known as the Sports and Spaces Act, would prohibit biological boys from participating in girls' sports and vice versa unless the sport isn't offered for one specific gender. It would also use biological sex to determine which bathrooms and locker rooms students are allowed to use. The NSAA already has rules for transgender athletes in the state.